Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, it's Goremiser here to help you take vengeance against the world with our next god. We're talking about Nemesis. Now Nemesis joins the battleground to unleash a tide of retribution. This goddess of vengeance brings balance to the battlegrounds as an assassin, living mostly in the jungle. As a jungler, Nemesis helps your team win their lanes, fight over buffs and objectives, and help find picks against the enemy team that will help your team win the game. Her ability to shred protections and slow enemies gives her the utility she needs to set up useful ganks and shred the enemy tanks. As the goddess of vengeance, Nemesis wants to bring balance into the battlegrounds. Her mobility, survivability, and damage all make her one of the premier assassins in SMITE. So what better way to bring balance than with a scale? Nemesis's passive Scales of Fate rip physical and magical power from her target and raise her own power, all by basic attacking them. Stripping power from enemy carries or gaining power against enemy tanks, Scales of Fate allow Nemesis to get an early power spike and look for fights throughout the entirety of the game. Swift Vengeance, Nemesis's first ability, gives some easy access to mobility in the form of a double dash. Being able to dash forward and within a short amount of time dash again, Swift Vengeance opens up some higher level mechanics for Nemesis. You can use your basic attacks and abilities between dashes. This will enable you to chase enemies down, smack them around, and still dash away to safety. But maybe 2 dashes isn't enough for you to keep up with your enemy. That's where Slice and Dice can really help out. Nemesis swings her blade in a cone in front of her, with a region in the center of the attack dealing extra damage and slowing enemies. This is Nemesis's primary source of clear in the jungle, as well as her main damage in a fight. While slowing enemies down is always nice, this is one of your only forms of crowd control as Nemesis. Certain enemies might have slow immunity as well, so you have to be aware of the fight that you're trying to get into, or else it might turn south. Nemesis's third ability, Retribution, is her form of safety that isn't mobility. Nemesis forms a temporary shield around herself that will protect her from a set amount of damage, or it'll go until the time expires. Part of the damage dealt to Nemesis's shield is turned into healing for Nemesis, and reflects some damage back to the source. However, much like her second ability has some counters, Retribution's shield will disappear if Nemesis is hit by any hard crowd control. With some of these abilities being countered, Nemesis must bring something big to a teamfight to make things easier for her and her team. Enter the ultimate, Divine Judgment. Nemesis will target a single god on the enemy team and reduce their health and movement speed, all while stealing a portion of their protections for a period of time. Nemesis will also gain movement speed while in Divine Judgment, once again helping her chase down enemies. With reduced health, slower movement, and their protection stolen away, Nemesis opens up her opponents to be erased by either herself or her teammates easily. Once you tie all her abilities together, Nemesis is one of the most mobile gods in a teamfight. Alongside the slows she brings, it is difficult to escape her clutches. Along with Retribution, this mobility also helps keep her safe in a fight. In totality though, Nemesis benefits best from choosing a target and just sticking to them. Choosing to be half in or half out of a fight can end up disrupting you and causing trouble for your team, so don't be afraid to choose a target, pop your ult, and just demolish your enemy. Even though you're in the jungle, you do still have to worry about clear, and which abilities will be most beneficial throughout the game. So you'll want to start with Slice and Dice, as this ability will help give you the best clear in the jungle. Once you have that, throwing a point into Swift Vengeance will help give a little bit of bonus damage to camps, and it opens up the ability to close the gap between an opponent for some early aggression, or to dash away if things get dicey. Then, you'll want to grab a second point in Slice and Dice, and at level 4 grab Retribution just for a little bit of extra safety. Once you hit level 5, you'll want to pick up Divine Judgment to open up your full kit. After that, you'll want to focus on Divine Judgment whenever possible, then in order level up Slice and Dice, Retribution for that sweet survivability, and then Swift Vengeance. Nemesis is also one of the few assassins that benefits from such a wide variety of items and builds. Things like the Crusher and Heartseeker can boost your ability damage to help burst down enemies. Brawler's Beatstick or Jotun's Wrath, on the other hand, can give some helpful penetration in the early game, while giving anti-heal with Brawlers or cooldown reduction with Jotuns. Erendite synergizes well with Nemesis's ultimate, giving her even more movement speed to play with, and items in the Katana tree, like Stonecutting Sword, can give Nemesis power and allow her to shred even more enemy protections during a fight. As you can see, item-wise and ability-wise, Nemesis's main focus is to strip down one enemy at a time. With high mobility, good damage, and protection shred, Nemesis is able to help bully down tanks, and she can easily dispatch any enemy backliner. Most of your early game will be focused on clearing buffs and helping your lanes to give you farm. Once you feel comfortable, you can also start looking for ganks. Slice and Dice gives a strong slow for you to chase enemies down early, but it's also a good amount of burst that, with the help of a teammate, can burn down any opponent. Once you have Divine Judgment, you'll be able to help burn down pretty much anyone in the game. Most of your gameplay in the jungle will be figuring out where your help is needed most. Go to whichever lane is having more difficulties than the others, and just help get them back on track. As Nemesis, you can take more one-on-ones than most assassins, but you also have great setup potential for your team. As the game progresses, you'll find your ability to find pure 1v1 slowly disappearing as teams group up. At this point, you'll want to transition to finding picks on enemy backliners or ulting the enemy frontline to help burn them down. The choice as to which happens is up to you. If the enemy is winning because of their frontline's crowd control, they might be a better choice to burn. Otherwise, hey, you're still a jungler, so go kill that hunter hiding in the back. Nemesis is out seeking vengeance, and now you're equipped to go guide her hand to help find it. So tip the scales of fate in your favor, and we'll see you in the battleground.